In Battlefield 6 we have access to some of the most in-depth weapon statistics I've ever seen in a video game. However, the wording on some of these stats can be confusing, so today I'm here to help you better understand what each of those words means. Firstly, I'll cover the three very simple statistics. The damage stat simply refers to the maximum damage a weapon can do with a body shot. Then we have rate of fire, this is how fast a firearm will fire, obviously. And lastly we have mag size, which is of course how many rounds are in each magazine. Moving right from that small box, we move into the main statistics. The first one being Hipfire, which simply put is how large or small the Hipfire reticle is, and therefore how accurate the weapon is from Hipfire. Hipfire is only really useful in close quarters, so the SMGs have the best Hipfire accuracy, and snipers have the worst. But unless you're planning on running around in close quarters and not using the sights, then you can afford to lose some Hipfire accuracy. Next we have precision. This is essentially the volume or the amount of bullet spread on a weapon. In a lot of games, when you point the reticle at a target and shoot, the bullet will go exactly where the reticle is pointing. However, in Battlefield 6, there is some bullet deviation as the bullets will go slightly off that target based on how high the precision is. What this essentially does is limit the effectiveness of certain weapons at longer ranges. A rifle can have low recoil, but a poor precision stat means your shots won't land where you expect them to. This stat also varies greatly across all weapons classes. Some SMGs have great precision while others have weak precision, and some LMGs are the same with really good precision and then some very weak precision. This can't be controlled and can only be adjusted with attachments. This is a very controversial mechanic as it takes away a lot of skill from controlling weapons and essentially brings it down to a random numbers game. This brings us on to control. Control is essentially recoil, and this can be controlled by either better handling the recoil using your mouse or controller, or by adding attachments to reduce recoil. You can also burst fire to mitigate recoil, as well as closing the gap between you and the enemy. Control varies massively across the weapon classes and can really make or break a weapon. Lastly, in this category we have mobility. Mobility is a new one in Battlefield, and it simply refers to how quickly and freely your character can move with a weapon. The higher mobility, the quicker you are, and the faster you are transitioning to crouch and prone and strafing back and forth. So if you are someone that likes to strafe back and forth, then you will definitely want to keep this high. The LMGs obviously have the lowest mobility because they are typically very heavy, but the specialist trait for the sport class is to not have any penalty to sprint speed for the LMGs. And then below those figures we have 5 small icons that can be expanded to show more detail. The first one's very simple, and that is fire modes. This just shows you which fire modes are available for each weapon. Most fully auto weapons will also have a single fire mode as well as fully auto, and a few like the PW5A3 have a burst fire mode too. Next after that we have reload time. This stat shows you how quickly you can reload a weapon from empty. This can be adjusted with fast mags attachment, so that's definitely one to look for. And then next we have muzzle velocity or bullet velocity. This shows how fast a bullet will travel after being fired from the gun and exiting the muzzle of a rifle. A higher velocity means a faster bullet, essentially meaning you can lead targets less if they're travelling across the horizon. Sniper rifles have a much higher velocity, allowing them to be more effective at tracking targets across a horizon, as well as hitting targets at a longer distance because the bullet takes less time to travel there. Then we have the ADS time in. This obviously is how quick you can go from hipfire to aim down sights. And then lastly we have the headshot multiplier, and this stat tells you how much more damage a bullet will do to the head as opposed to the chest. This doesn't vary much between the rifles, typically only if a rifle has a higher caliber, or in the case of sniper rifles with a 1.75 multiplier, meaning it will always kill with one shot to the head. There is of course a drop off for damage. The further away you get, the less damage a round will do, but there is no drop off for the headshot multiplier. So hopefully you enjoyed this video and learnt a few things about the weapon statistics in Battlefield 6 that you can use to hopefully improve your weapons. If you did enjoy, please do like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.